All right, so we're going to use the substitution method to solve a linear system. So to substitute, what you have to do first is you have to solve one of the equations for either y or x. You pick. So this is your choice. You get to choose which one you want to solve for. Once you solve for one of those, you're going to substitute whatever expression you get into the other equation. And then you're solving for each variable because you do need an x and a y value. So by looking at this system, what I'm noticing is if I have to solve for a y or an x, I want to use this first equation. And the reason I want to use it is because I have 3x minus y equals 12. This y already has 1 as my coefficient. I'm not going to have to divide anything later. So that's the one I'm going to use. So I'm using that one, and I'm choosing the y because for me, that's going to be the quickest way to do this. So I'm going to add the y to the right side, and I'm going to have 1y. I'm going to subtract the 12 to the left side, and I'm going to get minus 12. So now I have my y value. Y is equal to this. So I'm now going to take this 3x minus 12, and I'm replacing it for that y. Not in the one that I just did, but I'm taking the second equation now. 4x plus 2y equals negative 4, and I'm actually going to substitute what I got from my first equation, the 3x minus 12, into there. Now I pretty much just have a straight up linear equation. I could solve this and solve for x. So 4x plus 6x minus 24, 10x equals 20. So x is 2. I got my x value. So these equations have two variables, which means I need two answers. I have to solve for each variable. So the way I solve for y is I need to take this and I need to substitute it into something. So I can plug it into one of the original equations. That's probably what most teachers tell you to do. You could also substitute it into that y equals piece that you got. I'll plug it back into the first one, the original one, just so we do the work. So it's 3 times x minus y equals 12. I know x is 2 now, so I can plug 2 into there because that's going to work for both. It's going to give me the same answer. 6 minus y equals 12. If I add the y to the right side, I subtract the 12 to the left side, y is negative 6. So my solution, my answer is going to be 2, negative 6. And if you graphed these, just for context, both of these lines would intersect at the same point, which would be 2, negative 6. So let's practice another one. It's going to be a little more complicated, so you understand the concepts. So we're going to use substitution again. None of these have 1 as my coefficient, so I'm going to have to do some kind of dividing. So I'm looking at this right now, and this top equation I can simplify. You don't have to. You could pick a variable right off the bat, but all of these numbers are divisible by 4. So I'm going to rewrite this right now. X plus 3y equals 16. Now I have an equation with just the x. So I think I'm just going to decide right now. I'm going to use this equation. I got x by itself. Well, it's not by itself, but there's a 1 in front of that x. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to go from here. So x is going to equal, if I subtract the 3y, it's negative 3y plus 16. And now I could take that x value and plug it into this other equation. Before I do that, just because, no, let's do it, and then I'll show you. So this second equation, 3x plus 9y equals 48. I'm going to have 3 times that plus 9y equals 48. So I'm taking this negative 3y plus 16, and I'm going to substitute it. Negative 3y plus 16. And now we're just solving. So negative 9y plus 48 plus 9y equals 48. All right, special case. What? So negative 9y plus 9y, that's 0. 48 equals 48. So this is something from way back when you solve linear equations. Hopefully you remember this. I do have a video on this, so you can check my stuff and this will be explained. This is all solutions. So anytime you solve an equation and there is no variable, there's either all solutions or no solutions. Because 48 is actually equal to 48, I know that it doesn't matter what I plug in for y or x, these are going to be the same every single time. The other scenario you would get is if those are not equal. So if you get 45 equals 48, that's not true. So that would be no solution. So this is a special case that we're talking about. So we're done. That is it. It's all solutions, all real numbers. So when you graph these are the lines that are going to be on top of each other. These are going to be the same exact line. So what I didn't do before, because I kind of noticed that immediately, if we go back to the beginning, I noticed in the first equation I could divide by 4. I could do the same thing to the second. Those are all divisible by 3. And if I divide those by 3, I would get 1x plus 3y equals 16. So if you have your number sense and you can identify and immediately start to manipulate, you can see very quickly that these are the same. And if they're the same equations, they're the same lines, you're going to have all solutions. So just be strategic when you're doing the work. Try to work smarter, not harder.